City of Island Fishing. I'm Glenn, and this round we want to talk about dam fishing. How we decide when and how to fish. In this case, Denison Dam, our local dam just up the road over there at Lake Texoma, or tail race to Lake Texoma. And some specifics we want to do is talk of when and how we decide to go fish at this particular dam. When we say when, it's based on the water release data that's posted online, as well as how, based on trial and error. And this is one of our things that we hope to do with this channel, is to hope to improve your chance of success by learning to fish by our trials and errors. Alrighty, so before we go into dam fishing and how we decide when and how to fish, we got to do our little commercial thing. This is the thing that we are picking up from other YouTube creators, and basically upping your game when it comes to your YouTube channel. So thanks for stopping by. And oh, by the way, some of the things that we're trying to do is our goal: learn to fish by our trials and errors. So we've made mistakes, we've learned from them, and we're still learning more. And bottom line, we're hoping that maybe some of that stuff we've learned we can transition to our viewers, and maybe they can continue to fish and maybe catch some nice sized fish, as well as maybe send us a few pics or comments our way, and we'll definitely love to post them on our blog, stalkertroutfishing.com. So that said, if you do like us and what we're doing, do subscribe. COAF Field Team, City of Island Fishing Field Team. Select the bell notification so you can get the latest and greatest, as well as you can also join us on Facebook. We're on there at COAF Field Team. And then do check out some of our pictures that we'll post on Instagram. Also COAF, but with field.team. And then finally, do join us on our blog, stalkertroutfishing.com. In fact, in this case, we're going to also put some of the key items that we're putting out here on that blog, so do stay tuned. Alrighty, so let's talk about fishing, how we decide when and how to fish Denison Dam, our local tail race. And like we say, we're still learning, and some of the things we want to put out in particular, we'll just go and throw up some slides here, our PowerPoint slides. Okay, so how we decide when and how to fish. In this case, we filled in the blank, Denison Dam. Well, there's trials and errors, and hopefully we're still learning, and hopefully we can transition that to y'all. And some things that we want to talk about is just to give you some reference as to what we're talking about when it comes to water flow and the release. Broke it out into some just simple terms: high, medium, and low water flow. So you've got high. This is when they're discharging water from the lake, and as well as generating power from the power plant that is down there at the tail race. Medium, this is when they're generating, and it could be a higher or lower medium depending on how many turbines that are running. And then low, no discharge and not generating. And so with that information as reference, some of the things we want to also note is you got to find the pattern. The way we find the pattern is the water release. So this is what's either planned or what is actually happening through real-time release data. And so we're hoping that we can get that information over to you through these upcoming slides, and maybe we can help you find the pattern. And once you do find that pattern, let's go fishing and maybe talk about how to fish in particular. So do stay tuned. Okay, finding the pattern. In this case, we've laid out several simple steps, steps 1 through 5, as well as a little PS at the end, because we've got actual an example that you can always go back and reference. And so let's go and walk you through there real quick, and then we'll go right into more detail. Okay, in step 1, just type in your browser cityofislandfishing.blogspot.com. It'll take you to this page, and you'll see that it's been archived. There's a lot of information there that folks still go to and check out. In particular, this post that we put in there, I can't remember when, but we'll find out here shortly. Scroll down to the bottom of the home page. You'll get to popular posts, and right here you'll see Denison Dam real-time release schedule, as well as the real-time release for Denison Dam. What happened is there were 2 posts that we posted. One was an initial one that we were talking some links and whatnot because someone had asked us a question and we want to just get that information out to them, some simple links to go to. And then someone asked us how to read that information, so we provided that into the second post. So this video is just expanding a little bit further in that we're just kind of updating it to a more recent trip. In this case, we went out there Saturday, yesterday in fact, and did some fishing there, and in preps for that, we used this to find the pattern before we headed out there. Alright, so that was step 2. Step 1, go to our website, archive cityofallenfishing.blogspot.com. Scroll down to the popular post, and you'll get to this section here. And then once you get to this first post, go ahead and click on that link, and that'll take you here. It's just an excerpt of that, but it's just an excerpt of that post. And in fact, there we go. We posted this back in March 5, 2008. And in there's several links. The one we want you to take a look at first is to click on the Denison Dam generation schedule. So once you click there, that'll take you to this page. And it's changed over the years. It used to be a different format, but basically it's the Southwestern Power Administration generation schedules planned for a bunch of different locations or dams in the area in the Southwestern Power District. In there you'll see Monday through Sunday some links that take you to the planned generation schedule, or when they plan to generate power. So if you plan to, let's say, take a trip, in our case we were planning to take a trip Saturday to go fishing. What we did was we looked over the course of the next few weeks, or a few days, Monday through Sunday, just to get an idea as to what was out there, what was the plan for scheduling a turbine to be run. And so when you click, we went to July 27. And so when we click there on Saturday, July 27, we saw that this confirmed that it was Saturday, July 27, because sometimes you'll kind of get thrown a curve. And like you said, it's the Southwestern Power Administration, or Southwestern Power, that covers more than just one dam. In this case, this one's Denison, DEN, column 2, and that will represent Denison Dam. I think BBD is Broken Bow, KEY is Keystone, and in the there's a reference table or crosstab that'll tell you what each of these abbreviations mean. But in our case for Denison, it's DEN, column 2. It's listed by hour, so 1 through 24-hour period, covering Saturday. And what we noticed immediately was they're going to generate here, it looks like 40 megawatts of power over the course of 9 to midnight local. And so this gave us an idea that, it's going to probably be one of those days where we're going to see some water flow versus a medium water flow instead of a low or high water flow. Also, what we've noticed, they quit discharging from the Lake Texoma into the Red River, and so it's all just generation schedules now, which is a fun time of the year, because if you can time it right, you can have some pretty good fun times fishing the river when the water flow is low, and you can fish those pools and whatnot. And so this is a prime time of year to be taking a look at this information and then making those run up to your particular dam, in this case us Denison, but again you got Broken Bow, you got Keystone, you got some other ones also listed here. And what we did then is we'll check Monday to Sunday, and bottom line, it showed the same. It was going to be like this, 9 to midnight. It was going to be generating power, and so we knew that that was the projected schedule. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is go back to that post number 1, and you can see there's a second link, Denison Dam real-time, in parentheses, hydropower release. When you click there, that'll take you to this page and highlighted some key things that you want to take away from it. And what we first notice quickly is this data is gathered electronically, and it's presented, but not undergone any form of quality control. So it's not a guarantee that it's correct or even valid. But over the course of the years, it tends to be pretty good when it comes to when it comes to fishing. It's either they're generating or not, and it's giving us an idea of how much the water flow is. And so the main takeaway out of this page is, okay, there's a warning. Yes, we understand it's not accurate. Maybe we're not being scientific here. Instead, we're just wanting to go and fish when there's some water movement or not. And so when you click here, you'll notice right over here where it says latest readings for DENI. So this is for Denison. It's going to have some information just below these graphs here. And what we're going to try finding is one, number of turbines and current water flow in cubic feet per second. And that's going to tell us some water flow information that we've referenced over the year. Again, trials and errors, we've got an understanding of what the river looks like when a certain water flow was happening, and then from there we make some adjustments. And so when we click here, you can see that when we did this, it was about 7 minutes after 8, 2000 hours military time that we did today, the 28th of July. And right here, this is when it's telling us when the latest data that it captured. So we hear about 7 minutes after we had refreshed this information, the latest data was as of 2000, so 8 o'clock local. And some of the key takeaways out of here is there's going to be one turbine online as of this moment when we took this snapshot per 2000 versus not the 2007, but still pertinent. Number of turbines online, one turbine. And there's some other information about headwater, tailwater, but what we really care about is the next piece. Latest outflow, turbines only, 4,850 cubic feet per second. So that's telling us about 5,000 cubic feet per second around. So there's a good amount of water flow, but not a crazy amount. So we kind of have an idea where we're going to probably see where the water is going to go up along the shoreline, be it on the Texas or Oklahoma side, and we'll make some adjustments once we're actually there. But that's what it tells us. And then one thing we'll also keep in mind is that total power, hydropower generation. So earlier it was saying 40 megawatts on what was planned. Well, it looks like they're pretty much hitting about the 40.38 megawatts. So everything's to what was planned at this point. So good news there. So keep that in your back pocket. And from there, what you want to do is you need to determine when they start and stop generating. And did a little snippet here. When you scroll further down on the page, you'll see a column or set of data that has time, date, and then some key information. Again, headwater, tailwater, and then turbine flow, as well as power, total power. And of this column, or of this set of data, we're looking at the time, the date, of course, to just make sure that we are on the right day. And then over here, the last two columns is what we're looking at. 4,850 cubic feet on average per second, producing about 40 megawatts as well. And this was as of noon on the 27th, so this is Saturday. In fact, that's when we were there. Actually, no, we had left previous to noon, but bottom line, they were still generating when we left. And then we can see that it continues on with water flow, so a medium rate of water happening from noon to 14:15, so 2:15 p.m. And then you just keep scrolling down till you get to some. You'll see when they start and stop generating. So we'll take it to the next page, and in this one, just for illustration purposes, we just transfer this information to a spreadsheet so you can just see this time series data and give you an idea of what we're looking for when it comes to determining and finding the pattern of that water flow. And so going back from noon, and in fact all the way to midnight, you can see that they were generating. And here, right about 20 23:45, so 11:45 p.m. They were generating 4,850 cubic feet per second, 40 megawatts, and then soon after, about 15 minutes after that, you can see they're already cutting the power down. So water flow is going down to 2,000. It's dropping down to 12 megawatts, and then soon after, right about 15 minutes after midnight, it's showing 0. And that happened all the way from midnight until 7:45, and this is a similar case that we saw when we were there Saturday. So it looks like they did the same thing again Sunday, where they stopped at midnight, and early morning Sunday, about 7:45, right at about 8, you start seeing that they're starting to ramp up the water flow again. And in fact, on Saturday, if you see one of our videos of Saturday's fishing, the 27th, you'll hear the sirens going off, warning that they're going to be releasing or generating power. So what this tells us is there's going to be some no water flow or low water flow after midnight till about just shortly before 8 o'clock. And then from 8 o'clock all the way up throughout the day, it looked like they generated. And when we took the snapshot at just a little bit after 8 o'clock, you can see there's missing data as of 2015. So there's still some information to be filled there as it comes. And this is all stuff that's happening. So no plans or no forecasts. This is this happened, and therefore we're reporting it, and so that's good to keep in your back pocket. But bottom line, you still have 4,850 at 40.38 megawatts, and it looks like it'll continue on. So what we should see, if everything's going right per the planning or what's planned, is we should see these all filled in, and then we should end up seeing a slowdown come midnight, where they'll just hold until the next day. And so this is how we find that pattern of start and stop of generation, and this is also going to be key for you when you start planning your trip. Okay, so here we go. The pattern. Generation schedule plans to operate one turbine producing 40 megawatts from 9 o'clock to midnight, Monday through Sunday. We saw that through the planned schedule. From a real-time water release data, this is what we're showing here in these in this time series data, is one turbine produced 40 megawatts or around 40 megawatts running from 8 to midnight on Saturday. And then in this case, it looks like it's going to happen again on Sunday. And that water flow it was ranging from 4,850 to about 50 or 5,050 cubic feet per second. So with that information from a fishing view, what we planned on doing, and if we had to go again, let's say today, Sunday, or if we went tomorrow, we'd be on the river no later than 6 a.m., so just a little bit before sunrise. We'd be wanting to go there, and that'll give us an opportunity to fish the river with low water flow until around 8, and then we'll know it's going to kick up on us. And then after 8, if we're just going to spend half the day or the whole day there, we'll know that there's going to be some medium water flow, because there's only one turbine generating until about midnight. And so now we have the pattern. And from there, we'll make some adjustments, and once we're on site, and see what we can do about catching some fish. Okay, so if you do forget what we're showing here, you can always go back to the YouTube channel and check things out. But also, you can go back to our archived website, cityofislandfishing.blogspot.com, and see the second post. And here, this is also explaining that time series data and what and how to read the schedule. In this case, this is that hydroelectric release or data. It's not the this is what we plan on or planning scheduled. Instead, this is what's already happened. Okay. And so that's what's key, is finding the pattern once you have the pattern. And again, things can change. There's that little warning thing that you saw both at the Southwestern Power site, as well as when you click on the schedule, as well as when you click on the real-time data. It all is giving you the warning that things can change. And the reason why we think through trial and errors, our thoughts are it's all based on demand. If you need more power for a given time period, then that schedule is going to change. and you may see this. You may see more water flow than expected, and so it's always good to, from our point of view, before we make that run or making that run up to the river, we do like taking a look at the real-time release schedule and just checking out the pattern and just seeing if what they're scheduling is also happening. In the winter, things kind of tend to fluctuate because it gets cold, so a lot more power demand happens, and the next thing you know, you're thinking you're going to be fishing low, slow water, and instead you've got faster water to deal with. Alrighty, so you found the pattern. So let's go fishing, but how to fish that particular time that you're going to be on the water. So the first thing that you want to do is the water flow. At low water, you're going to fish it different than at medium water flow. And definitely when they're discharging at that high water flow, you're going to definitely fish it different as well. So I think we reiterated in some of our previous videos, high, where they're discharging a ton of water from the lake itself, just like they've been doing here in the past few months. It's a lot of surf casting gear and a lot of casting and fishing very fast water with some heavy lures, as well as working surface activity where they're just popping on the surface, or if you don't, then further downstream and kind of working some of those slower moving areas. But in the case of this time of year, where you've got the low water flow when they're not generating, as well as the medium water flow when they are generating with one turbine, kick up two turbines, you're going to see that cubic feet per second or water flow increase, sometimes in the 10,000 range. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to adjust and see where that where the river lies and kind of settles out after it's at full power or full generation. And so by trial and error, we've understood that we're going to see some pockets and pools to work when there's no or low, slow water flow, when they're not generating. We know that come midnight, when they're cutting off the power, that we'll definitely see some nice rocky areas that we can head into the do some wade fishing and hopefully catch a few and find some of those money spots that we've caught them before in the past. And then once they do kick up the generation again, come medium water flow, you'll start seeing the river rise. You start working back from the bank. And from there, once you see things settle out, start looking again for some likely places where the fish may be. And so how do you know a likely place where the fish may be lurking? Well, the first thing we like doing is what's the current activity? A lot of times you'll look at the surface activity. You'll see a lot of fish hitting or breaking the surface because there's a lot of food to be eaten, or that generation and initial water flow is getting them active. So look for that. Start immediately fishing that. When that kind of dies down, then kind of work the pools and runs that you'll see that'll start breaking off from the main part of the river. You'll see changes and breaks in currents. That's always a good thing to try. And then do pay attention to some of the boat fishermen that'll be out there. You'll see them kind of setting up in these different areas, and be frustrating at times where you see they're just doing really well, catching them, and then other times no one's doing really well, and then other times everyone's doing well. This past time, the big thing that we learned this past or Saturday when we fished is we were doing good with the rattle traps. We were doing good with clouds or minnows and catching them on lures and whatnot initially. We did see a lot of folks, in fact, who had gotten there at that early money zone time when that low water flow was happening, and you can work all these different pockets, and you can see the striped bass kind of moving about and feeding, doing really well. And then as soon as they started generating, you had a little opportunity there to catch a few and then make some adjustments and then find where they are again. But this past Saturday, what we noticed is anyone who was pretty much using live shad, finding a good pool where they're at or run where they're at, seemed to be the ones that were catching fish. Other than that, it was either some small ones as well as just striking out in general. So, so how we fish once we found the pattern: consider the water flow, high, medium, or low and medium in this case, and then look at the current activity, what's breaking the surface, what's moving about, and then work those pulls and runs and changes in the current, and see if you can get a bite or two there. And then always make some of those adjustments. So you may have to change your lure, size, color, from a bait standpoint, live versus dead. Always fresh though when it comes to your bait. And then that live one, well, it seems to be pretty good when you have some of that live shad. Seems to be really good. But of course, this last round we did see a lot of ghost minnows in the water. In fact, we got some underwater video of that showing. So the other thing is follow the food. So you see that the food, the bait is moving down further downriver, or is coming back upriver, or is getting caught in a particular part of the river. Do give that a shot as well. Alrighty, so that's some suggestions or some things that we learned by trial and error. Do thank you for stopping by. And again, the goal, learn to fish by our trials and errors. We made mistakes. We've learned from them. We're still learning more. Thanks for checking out our video, and thanks for staying till the end. We're going to knock out the Paracord giveaway that we started last week, and hopefully we'll have a random winner selected. Previously, we had asked that you guess a number from 1 to 100. We had a couple of folks put in some requests, or actually guesses, but no one actually got the number that we guessed. The number was 57. Woohoo! But that said, we're going to go and do a random choosing or selection. We're going to use our selection tool called TubeBuddy from the comments within that video, and let's see who it is. All right, the winner is Dat Giraffe Girl. All right, so if you are this person, Dat Giraffe Girl, go ahead and send a email to us at coaf.weblog@live.com. We'll also have it in the comments, let you know how to get in touch with us, and then we'll give you some directions on how we'll validate you as a winner, and then get some address information, and we'll get the Paracord fly rod tube rack to you. All right. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for these giveaways. Do stay tuned. We'll do some more, hopefully in the near future. Bottom line, good luck and good fishing.